Hello everyone, in this video I will show you how to connect Dapta with a Google Sheet template. So this specific tutorial will be composed by two main parts. The first one is just the prompting and the creation of the general agent, and also setting up the variables that we want to extract from the call. And the other one is actually implementing the connection between Google Sheets, our template, and Dapta using the Flow Studio feature. So to start out, I already have an assistant created and prompted. This is a case for a virtual assistant that is specialized in the qualification for B2B sales funnels. And in my conversation flow, you see that I am asking the lead some information and I want to extract this data to a specific column in my template. So to do that, you first have to go to call analysis and then to post call data retrieval and add each variable as their specific type. So in this case, let's say I want to extract the full name. I will select text, name my variable, it could be name, and this is the name of the user. You can also, if this is a text variable, you can add some format examples here. So let's say one format example would be my name. Another one would be another name. And also try to be very specific in the instructions field here, because this is the instruction that you're going to give the AI in order to extract the information from the code. If you are very vague in what you instruct the AI to do, then the variable won't be as precise as you want. Now, apart from the name, let's say I want to know the role of that person. So I'm going to add a new variable to grab that information. I'm going to name it role. It doesn't matter the name, actually. What it matters is the instruction. So this is the role of the user inside the company. And finally, let's see if I can use a different type of variable, a lead score. So let's say I want to also, I'm here calculating a lead score depending on the previous questions that I'm asking the user. So let's say I want to extract that lead score as a number. So it would say the name would be lead score. By the way, we don't allow spaces between words here. This is just because of some mapping reasons. And the instruction would be the lead score given to the user in the conversation. So now that we have our three variables, we have to actually set up a flow that connects these variables with the columns that we want to map in the Google Sheets. Okay, now in the main dashboard, you will go to Flow Studio and you will go to New Flow. And after you do that, let's start from scratch. I will name it Connection Google Sheets. Right now that we are in our blank canvas, you will set the trigger as a post method for it to be able to receive information and also send. And then I also like to enable this public access right here. So what we actually want to do is append a new row to a specific Google Sheet. And for that, I'm going to use this node that I have right here. I have already imported it. And what it does is it just receives your credentials. It connects to your document, and then you can map the variables to the specific columns that you want. And now I'm going to start to configure this node to connect to my template. So first I have to set up my credential. Here, well, in the Dapta dashboard, you can find your credentials and you can just log your Google account. In this case, I've already done that, so that's why I have it here. Now the operation would be append a row. And now I'm going to select a document that is on my Google workspace. So to do that, I click here, select the document, and then I'm going to go to the template that I want to use. Then after I have the template or the document selected, then I just go to sheet and pick the sheet that I want to add the new row on. So this would be log llamadas in this case. Let me move a bit to the left. And here you will find your columns. So this is the name of columns that it found inside that sheet. And here you will put the information from the call to map them to those columns. Now in this sheet, you have 5 different tabs. The first one is where you will see listed your contacts. The next one is where you will import your contacts. So if you import a contact here, you will see it automatically translated into this contacts sheet, but this is just to trigger calls. In this case, what we want to do is actually register a new call, and that is done inside this sheet called log llamadas. So for example, I have one here, but I'm going to erase that one and run you through one example. You may be noticing that these are the same column names that we can find in our Dapta automation. So when you connect your sheet, it would automatically detect your column names and import them here for you to just map the information that you received from this trigger to that column. Now I'm going to call myself, answer, and then hang up just to receive the payload inside my automation so I can use the variables to map it. So I'm going to use my number and call myself. It is trying to call me, and I should be receiving the call in a second. Right, so now it said it is a success, and now I'm receiving the call. So I answer, I hang up, and in my flow here, if you go to executions, oh, well, I had two executions because I did a phone call earlier, but let's use this one, the last one that I did, and you see that I'm receiving all the information from the call, right? Now I can use this information here. So if I go to executions, I'm gonna use one of these executions to copy to input, then run this flow, and it is not gonna, right now when I run this, it's not gonna do anything because I haven't mapped my variables, but I just did that so I have access to the information here from that specific call, and I can use it to map it easily. Okay, so I actually now finished mapping my variables. What you need to know here is that I'm mapping the extracted data that I set earlier on the agent as a full object. So I'm not dividing it by the different columns that we defined, but just actually passing the information to just one specific column. And you will see how this looks in a second. You can also set more columns and then update here it is and separate the data into the very specific columns. But in this case, I'm just doing it this way for the sake of the example. And now that we have all the information mapped, we can again emulate as if we did a call. So we're going to do that, and it should populate the first row inside our call block in our template. So once I run this, you see that the output is the updated rows was the first one, and this is the updated range. And now if you go to the template, you will see that it imported the data into our sheet. So we called this number, well, this depends specifically on the mapping that you did. And here the extracted data that we wanted to have from the call is inside here. So as I told you, I imported this as the full object, but you can also divide by row, by lead score, by adding more variables and then handling that in the mapping inside Dapta. In this case, I imported all of our three variables into one same column. So my name was 1. My role wasn't specified in the call because I actually hung up as soon as I received the call, and the lead score was 0 again because I hung up and it didn't have the information to do this. And that's it. That's how you can extract data from your calls from Dapta and then map it to a Google Sheets template.